Thank you for joining us for our second quarter 2026 earnings call. John and I wanted to take a moment here to answer some of the questions you submitted. So, the first question was the recently synchronized two module demonstration appears to be an important step towards the multi megawatt systems. What are the key remaining technical milestones before beginning to scale? So, for a little background, this past quarter we announced that we were actually able to take multiple of our 200 kilowatt power modules and string them together and make them operate like a single power plant. Why this is important, as noted in our multi megawatt architecture, that's what's happening inside the box. There are these 200 kilowatt Carnos strung together in order to provide more power. So, this is demonstrating that our software is able to do that. Now, on the multi megawatt side of things, we are working on building out the initial one of those units. It's an 800 kilowatt architecture box, and the first one is actually going to be used to power the USX-1 Defiant Navy ship. The next question was, what makes Carno better? Is it the fuel flexibility or more efficiency per unit? So it actually is a magnitude of things. It's efficiency, it's reliability, low maintenance. For the military, it can be low detectability. So there are various categories. All can be also overarching with low cost electricity, right? Which is really driven by efficiency. So what we're trying to do in the beginning is find customers that have a unique pain point, like the military who wants a low maintenance solution, or the military is also interested in fuel flexibility. Data centers had their need is the grid isn't able to supply the power they are looking for, and that's why they're turning to alternative solutions like ours. So our value proposition actually changes from one customer to the other. Next question was, can you explain more about the cost of capital equation to scale manufacturing that you shared during the earnings call? John?
Yeah, I'll take that one. So, one of the big announcements that we had this week during our earnings is that we have determined that we can get a speed increase of about 3 times with the additive printing machines that we have. So, we took that one step further and we calculated the amount of power output that we can get per unit of investment. So, just to recap, we said that for each $1.5 million of capital investment, we think we can get 1 megawatt of power output from of Carnos. So just to do the math there, that's 5 Carnos systems per year for each $1.5 million of capital investment. And we took it further still and equated that the total amount of revenue that we think we can generate, which is somewhere between 2.5 and 3 million, depending on our pricing. So with those numbers, analysts and investors can do a quick calculation and they can see that we're at the point now where it makes sense to be able to invest in more additive printing equipment. So then the bottom line is we think that starting as early as next year, we'll resume printer acquisitions and be able to ramp up in 27 and 28 and going forward to increase our future production capacity. So that was really big news for us this time.
Next question came in around congratulations on the $41 million Navy contract. Are you seeing increased interest from other Department of Defense programs or Department of Energy? And what does that pipeline look like? So we went into this year saying we expected to achieve about $40 to $50 million of new military contracts this year. This contract alone, 42 million, hit that milestone. But in this earnings call, we actually shared we expect multiple additional military contracts to still close this year, bringing us closer to that 50 number. One of which we expect will be with a new or a different department of the military. And so we'll be expanding our work to not only be working with the Navy, but another branch of the military as well. Then the next question was, what are your near-term milestones? Can we look forward to the second half of this year? And what can we look forward to the second half?
Yeah, I'll take that one. So many of you may remember that at the beginning of this year, we laid out 10 milestones that we set for ourselves for 2026. And through the first half of the year, we've completed 5 of those 10. And then there are 4 more that are still in scope. So those 4 are getting the first 200 kilowatt Carno power module located at a customer's site. The second one is to complete the 800 kilowatt power module system for the U.S. Navy. The third is to get finish the delivery of the 10 early adopter units that we've been talking about for some time. which would include additional 200 kilowatt power module deliveries. And the last one is to generate $10 million of revenue this year. And we feel good about all these, particularly around revenue. We've already recorded 7.8 million this year, so we expect to surpass the 10 million in the third quarter, as well as get the first unit to a customer here pretty quickly.
Then a couple of fun questions that came in. Are there any future plans to scale down the size of the Carno generator for residential or portable applications? So this is something we've expressed. It's on our roadmap. We have not put any timing towards it, though. We have shared this concept with the military, which we're seeing a lot of excitement from them. And as you think about military applications like forward operating bases, troops that are being deployed, having a smaller genset that's more portable can offer a lot of benefits. And then another question was, if a sufficient amount of mirrors reflecting from the sun were pointed at each end of the Carno generator, would it work as designed? So this is a fun thing. The Carno generator, it's powered off of heat. So yes, you could take reflection of sunlight to make heat, and that could power it. Now there would need to be design changes, architecture changes to accommodate that. But same thing goes for nuclear, right? If you think about nuclear power plants, all they do is make heat. And so we are in discussions with nuclear players around being able to take their heat and have that actually power the Carno. So this gives us a pretty wide variety of opportunities as we look at the many years ahead as to where this technology can be applicable. So thank you for joining us for this quarter. It was a great quarter, a lot of strong announcements around the production roadmap plans, as well as increasing revenue guidance, and even a reduction in capital spend from this past quarter as well. So thanks for joining us, and we look forward to talking again next quarter.